Hello everyone, my name is Chance Brunton and welcome back to the StarCraft II Legacy of the Void campaign. In the last episode, we traveled to the world of Glacius, where we recovered the Purifier technology, which apparently has to do with reviving old Protoss warriors, or not so much reviving as copying them, making new versions to continue to fight for the Protoss. And we discovered that our old friend from StarCraft I, Phoenix, who is long since dead, was a part of that program, and so now we have a copied version of Phoenix in a highly advanced robotic body. It remains to be seen whether he's exactly like Phoenix or whether there's maybe some differences that could become important, but we're keeping an eye on him. And now we're going to travel to the Nerazim homeworld of Shakuras to try and get them to join us, because since they ritually sever their connection to the Kala, they are the last free Protoss. And that is very important. We need all the help we can get of any Protoss not under Amon's control.
Shakuras is overrun. Loss of life is extensive. Hold. We are receiving a transmission.
Praise the gods. Artanis, you live.
Matriarch Vorazun, what has happened here?
Shakuras has fallen. The warp gate linking this world to Ire has been reopened. Countless hybrid and Zerg pour from the other side. They've obliterated our cities, decimated our Shadow Guard. We are trying to evacuate the remaining population, but I am uncertain whether we can hold long enough to get them safely away.
We will give you the time you need, Matriarch. My Templar are inbound.
So that's a little bit ironic, because that warp gate that she's talking about saved the rest of the Protoss in the original StarCraft, because it allowed us to evacuate when the Zerg were originally overrunning Ire. In fact, the reason James Raynor is a huge friend of the Protoss, the reason they like him, he stayed behind with Phoenix for the longest time trying to protect the warp gate on Ire long enough to allow the Protoss to evacuate. And he nearly died so that the Protoss could get out as many survivors as possible. And ever since then, they've been very grateful for his assistance in their time of need. But now Amon is using the same warp gate that once saved the rest of the Protoss to now launch an assault on Shakuras and kill everyone. That is not good.
My Dark Templar were tracking your invasion on Ire when we were cut off. Then the warp gate opened. What happened, Artanis?
Amon used the Kala to seize control of the Templar. I could feel his rage tearing through me, and I was powerless against it. Zeratul found me. It was there that he...
Yes?
He tried to free me. And he succeeded at the cost of his own life. He fell by my hand.
It was Amon's deed, not yours.
Indeed.
Zeratul came to me with a warning, but I did not act. Because of this, he is now gone, and the stars burn dimmer for his loss. Amon's deed or not, I carry a burden, Matriarch. One that cannot be easily lifted.
He does have a good point there. He could have prevented all of that by listening to Zeratul in the first place. But, it was reasonable to go ahead as well, I suppose, from his point of view. I mean, we know better, but that's only because we've been following Raynor and Kerrigan and Zeratul through the story up to this point. Artanis hasn't. So, yeah, it's not too big a mistake.
All this time, this wretched little world was within striking distance of our fleets.
Much has changed since your era, Preserver.
First you consort with those Terrans, and now the Fallen Ones? It is heresy. You must know this.
The Dark Templar are now our allies.
There was a time when the Protoss were broken. Throughout the aeon of strife, we tore at each other with wanton abandon. Only one path was ever found to end the madness and unify our people. The Kala. The Dark Ones rejected its light.
They wanted personal
denied
freedom.
their own race. How can you fight for them?
For one so sworn to preserve our history, Rohana, how can you be so blind to its turn?
I see I have offended you, Hierarch. My apologies. Adapting to this period is difficult.
You've got a lot to learn.
Karax has utilized data from glaciers to bring the robotic sentinels online.
Yes, we already saw that. Stop telling me that something's available.
I've been trying to isolate the major population centers in need of evacuation.
Good.
The Zerg signatures far outnumber those of the Protoss, but most of the survivors seem to have gathered within Talametros.
There must be Nerazim phase-smiths you know among them. Those who stayed behind.
I am not seeing any Protoss life signs from within the engineering base, Hierarch.
Then they have met their fate.
Or perhaps they fought their way to safety. The Dark Templar do not follow our caste system. Some of their phase-smiths are trained warriors, skilled as any of ours.
That does give them an advantage I had not realized. But then, our people are very different.
Of course, Hierarch.
So this is the home world of the Nerazim, a planet shrouded in darkness. Fitting.
Beautiful, is it not?
Indeed. I never imagined the Firstborn would ever step foot upon it.
As Ire fell to the Zerg, we fled to this world as refugees. The Dark Templar accepted us as equals. It was here that we first stood against the Swarm as one.
I wish I could have stood by you.
You did?
And shared in such glory.
As do I.
You did. Let's have a look at our mission here.
The Zerg infestation is overtaking Talametros. Our evacuation is already in great peril. Your aid cannot come soon enough, Hierarch.
And we can get 25 soul rate from this. That's great. We can certainly use that to bolster our forces. That's some pretty nice artwork. What the heck is that thing in the middle? It looks like Cthulhu? Is Cthulhu a Zerg? Or maybe Cthulhu was actually one of the old ones, the Xel'Naga. Maybe Amon is Cthulhu.
Shakuras teams with Amon's Zerg broods. We hold only the southwest quadrant of Talametros, and even that is in peril. We must evacuate our people, but the launch bays have been defiled with infestation. Only ground forces can clear them.
Okay.
Once the bays are free, the planetary warp conduit will allow our ships to escape safely.
The launch bays will be cleared. Your people will survive, Matriarch. This I swear.
Okay, start as always by building a bunch of probes. Now we're given a few Dark Templar to start with. They're cloaked.
You will need the aid of my Dark Templar in this battle. They can strike from the shadows without fear of reprisal.
Sounds good. They are going to require Vespian gas, so we can't build more of them just yet. Not until our economy is a little bit stronger. But we could build some other forces, potentially. Question is, do we want to? I don't know. While our economy is coming up, we'll keep moving forward with these Dark Templar, and then hopefully we'll have enough money to be able to purchase stuff when we need it.
Artanis, I'm detecting a rift opening near your position. Avoid Thrasher.
What the heck?
By the gods, it's sieging the warp conduit.
Warriors, we must slay it before it destroys the conduit. Strike as one, Templar.
Okay, so not Cthulhu. It's actually that thing.
I will comply.
What the heck? Oh no, stay away from that purple ring. I played video games enough to know the purple ring is bad. Alright, well we're taking him down quickly enough. But, this is interesting. So he's come through some kind of rift? That's new. We've never seen that before.
The Thrasher is slain, but it will be for naught if the launch bays remain infested.
Interesting. So, we've got upgrades on the way. Good. That's one of Amon's creations from somewhere else. What just happened? My screen went black. Except for my map and my cursor. Is this a glitch? I mean, it must be some kind of glitch. Is it trying to load a cutscene? Okay, so the game froze there and I had to force quit and restart. I'm not really sure what happened, but we're back in it now. And the Void Thrasher has just been slain. And we've started producing additional units. It takes 125 gas for a Dark Templar. Okay. It's always the slowest part of the game is the beginning, because you've got to try and get all of your economy and production up to speed. Right now we'll primarily focus on building lots of Dark Templar, because I suspect that they will be the most useful things in this mission. But we should also try and make sure our production is such that we can do emergency warp-ins of other things.
These vaults hold the solarite reserves that power Talametros. You may claim them with our blessing, Hierarch.
Shore up our defenses. The Zerg are moving to attack our nexus point.
Yep, I see that, Artanis. I've got the Dark Templar following as quickly as possible. And we'll upgrade ground armor, because we don't have any sentries going with this, repairing our shields. So our life is going to be extra important. We've got probes mining Vespene gas as fast as possible, and mineral production is coming online as quickly as possible. Let's pick up these pellets.
Completing bonus objectives will allow me to improve the Spear of Adun's power. There are 2 vaults left in the city.
We're going to need some more pylons, not only for our actual space to build buildings and warp units in, but also for supply limits. So we'll start building those right now. In fact, to avoid being supply blocked, we'll just pop down an emergency pylon right now. That was very close. I should have been building a pylon a little bit earlier to help avoid being supply blocked.
I will comply.
But thankfully, the Spear of Adun has rescued me from my own incompetence. Now, something here can see us, which is not good, so we are just going to bombard the area using the Spear of Adun to try and do as much damage as possible. That'll help our Dark Templar out considerably. I don't know why they can see us, or they could have see us. Are the sunken tentacle things, are those detectors? Spine crawlers? No. That's what I thought.
A second Thrasher. The conduit is under assault. Be careful. The spore crawlers and overseers ahead can detect our Dark Templars' movements. Slay them first.
Oh, great. Okay. We have to prioritize this Void Thrasher above all else. Take out the spore crawler. Okay, good. Now, that Void Thrasher seems somehow to be aware of where we are. I'm not sure how it's doing that exactly, but we need to use caution. But we can take him down pretty darn quickly, thanks to the massive number of Dark Templar we have.
Has been eliminated. This would be an opportune moment to clear the launch bays.
So I don't understand. Do Thrashers just come by periodically? Or do they come by at set times? Let us continue to push forward. Where's the next place we need to go? If we took out this Zerg base, do we have a time limit? No, we don't. There's a launch bay, there's a launch bay. Let's take out this other Zerg base over here, because that actually has resources we can use to our advantage. So, we could be expanding our production and economy even more with the help of the resources that available there. Let's try and do some damage before that thing comes back around. Ah! Run away! Trying to stay out of sight here as much as possible. Let's loop around and kill this Ultralisk. Or at least do as much damage to it as possible before it can attack us. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Our Dark Templar have run into a whole load of mess. Oh well, we took everybody out. I mean, that's at least good. Let's get a pylon up here for warping in reinforcements. And get some Dark Templar. And I mean, we might as well get a Zealot at this point. We have a lot of minerals. So now we've got two army groups. We've got our invisible army and we've got our visible army. Ow, that kind of hurt our Dark Templar quite a bit. We need to get a Dragoon in here to deal with the air. And let's try and stay away from that Queen until we can at least take it out. Let's also send a probe to come establish a base up here.
Another Thrasher has appeared. You know what must be done.
Yes, we do. In fact, we could probably just attack with our entire army at this point. Oh god! Oh god! The Thrasher couldn't see us before. He could apparently see us now.
That should buy the conduit more time.
No, Dragoons! Okay, apparently that was tactically not a sound decision. We should have just gone in with the Dark Templar, perhaps. Ugh. The trouble is, how do we take out the air if we can only go in with Dark Templar? How are we supposed to be able to deal with it? I guess we just run away from the things that can detect us. Try not to be close to something that can detect us and something in the air at the same time.
The first launch bay has been cleared. Continue evacuating. Our pylon is under attack.
Oh, and the enemy have come back to our base, so that's not good. Let's get our Dark Templar back, and we'll have to warp in a bunch of Zealots. Can we afford a bunch of Oh, we need to wait on the timers. Well, hopefully those couple of Zealots can buy some time. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Come on. Okay. Oh, the Dark Templar are here, finally. I was about to have to pull all of the probes off the line. That would not have been good. Okay. So we'll just leave those Zealots down there, just in case. And we'll make sure we clear out all these overlords and people with the Dragoons. And we'll have to build another base up here. Fortunately, the Zerg haven't done too much damage so far, so you know, we'll live. We'll live. Oh, they did take out some of our people mining Vespene gas, so we'll need to correct that. So we can clear out another launch bay at least. And that'll put us in a slightly better position.
We have secured a second launch bay.
Well done. Half of the bays are launching evacuation ships.
Let's go for this. Oh no. Alright, we'll go down towards the south because we'll want to deal with this Void Thrasher.
Sent another Void Thrasher against us. Slay it before the conduit falls.
Will do. And the Zerg are about to attack us. That's just great. But we are managing to take them out to some extent. Might have been a good idea to build some cannons around that pylon. Let's get a probe up here to build a second pylon and a couple of cannons. And then we'll have a slightly stronger defensive post there to warp to. That warp conduit's taking a lot of damage. Let's quickly try and take everything out here. Oh no, what can see us? Oh no, there's an Overseer. Let's take out the Void guy and run away!
Another Thrasher felled. Is there no end to these abominations?
No, apparently not. What is the best way to deal with that? Should we just have a rolling army, like, accompanying our guys? I guess maybe we're just not supposed to annihilate everything. We're just supposed to sneak around as quickly as possible. And maybe if we did that, we would minimize the amount of Void Thrashers we came across. The Void Thrashers may intentionally be trying to force us to fight in tricky positions. Run! Run for the Spore Crawler!
What would you ask of us? I am intrigued.
Ugh. I'm not happy with this. I'd be a lot happier if we could get, like, air support for our units, and have the air support take out the detection, and then get the Dark Templar to do the rest. That would be nice. But that is not an option at the moment.
Artanis, another Void Thrasher has been summoned. This one is in the heart of the city.
I walk the shadowed path.
Oh, that's it. We're just taking so many losses on Dark Templar. Tell you what.
We have purged the infestation. Only one launch bay remains disabled.
Let's just build a bunch of production facilities, and let's make a proper army. Okay? Let's just make a proper army. Let's also build some more warping in pylons. You know, we could actually potentially just use Solar Lance to take out the detection, but personally I'm just for making a gigantic rolling army and taking everybody out. Now, if we just fight our way through random areas here, we can pick up mineral shards and gas pellets and the like. There's another Solarite reserve. Now, those are not marked on our map, but we need to find the other Solarite reserve. Where is the other Solarite reserve? I don't know. We'll just fight our way up here for the time being. And hopefully we'll come across the Solarite reserve sooner rather than later. We're bringing in some more zealots to take care of our casualties. We could also potentially bring in some more Dark Templar, because they hit hard, and where there's not detection, then they have a distinct advantage. So, I think instead of going for just all-out Dark Templar, what we'll do is we'll go for a mix that includes them.
Lost half of its durability. The Void Thrasher must be dealt with soon.
No problem.
I come.
Let's move! Yeah, this would have been really hard with just Dark Templar.
Not enough energy.
Oh, man, that Void Thrasher is really capable of inflicting quite a lot of damage. Focus it! Bring it down! Perfect.
Well done, brave warriors. Amon's Thrashers are no match for the Templar.
I wouldn't say that. We are taking pretty heavy losses battling them. We can win, but it's going to be very difficult and very costly. Oh, I forgot about the other Solarite thing. I was so distracted by the Void Thrasher.
Launch bays have been reclaimed. Matriarch, you may complete the evacuation.
You have saved my people,
Yeah, well,
Artanis.
good enough.
They will never forget it.
I'll be honest, I'm not really that motivated to go after the Solarite, because right now it's not really all that helpful. Oh, there is a last Void Thrasher. Okay. So, apparently that was the last one, I suppose, so I guess they must pop up at regular times. Yeah, but the rewards we get for our Solarite are not great. I mean, they're okay, but they motivate me to go for it, not to get all of it.
I am pleased to see you once more, Hierarch. I had hoped that our next interaction would be your announcement of Ayer's reclamation.
As did I. Instead, the Templar have fallen.
Then the threat is greater than I realized.
Oh yeah.
We cannot let the same fate befall Shakuras.
It is too late for that. Amon Zerg poured through the warp gate as a tide of flesh and blade. They have already overrun Telemetros and are nearing the shrines at Lizul. This world is lost. With such an infestation, Shakuras must be destroyed.
Destroy Shakuras? I will not permit this.
Permit? Shakuras was my people's home long before we offered yours sanctuary upon it. I will not let this world be a den for Amon's forces. Worlds may fall to ash. What matters is that we endure.
That is true.
To lose Shakuras and Ire.
Ire was lost long ago.
People, Artanis. Our true home has always been Ire. Let us reclaim it together.
It is fitting that the daughter of Raja Gal decides the fate of the world she helped forge. Let us make preparations at once.
So, are we about to wipe out an entire planet?
Hierarch, I have powered up a new ship subsystem. You can review it in the solar core now.
Now that's what I want to hear, because now we may actually have a purpose for more Solarite.
Of all the Templar, you never wavered in the belief that our two peoples could live in unity. It is something I admired in you.
It is ironic to hear you say this. All this time, I believed you were reluctant to accept the unity I sought.
You and I had many a disagreement in the Twilight Council. For day by day, I saw my people losing what they were. I saw our precious old ways erode.
You wished to preserve them.
I am Nerazim, Dark Templar. I hold great pride in my people.
But you are also Protoss. That is the greater affiliation.
That is not what the Conclave believed when we were exiled long ago. Your kind had ire. Our culture is all we ever had.
Well, I mean, at least everybody's together now.
Cloaked warriors are now available for deployment.
So, we can go with the Dark Templar, which are the classic, but this time we've got, well, I mean, I suppose before we had some bleed over too. Which one was it? The Stalker is originally a Nerazim creation, I believe. But in this case, there's some bleed over because now the Templar have created a version of the Dark Templar. So, outraged by the loss of Ire, these Avengers adopted the ways of the Dark Templar and returned to our homeworld to wage a secret war against the Zerg. Due to their small numbers, they learned how to escape from battle before death in order to fight another day. Recalled to a dark shrine on death, permanently cloaked. This effect cannot occur more than once every 60 seconds. So, used wisely, you could just have an infinite tide of these guys running into battle, sacrificing themselves, resurrecting at home, and 60 seconds later coming back and sacrificing themselves again. That could be quite devastating. And all you give up is Shadow Jump. I mean, jumps from target to target dealing 35 damage. Shadow Jump, was that automatically being used? I think it was automatically being used. So, I mean, that could help deal a lot of damage. But I do like the idea that we could just lose guys and they come right back without us having to pay for it. Though ideally, if our economy and our production is doing well, then paying for it shouldn't be a problem. So let's just go with the Dark Templar for now, and then we'll continue to think about it. Which probably means we'll forget about it and never come back and just keep using Dark Templar. But, I mean, in theory, we'll continue to think about it.
You have become a mighty warrior since last we fought together, Artanis.
He was back then, too.
Dark Templar revere you as if you were Adun himself. If only Tassadar could have lived to see what you've become.
He probably has.
I often think about him. Of how different these events would have been if you were still in command.
You are Hierarch now. Your doubts do not honor you or him.
Yet they persist. Tassadar's shadow looms large over my every action.
You must move from it, old friend. For none of us can truly grow while still in the shadow of his mentor.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that they haven't heard is what Tassadar told Zeratul. At least, I don't think Zeratul has told anybody that Tassadar said to him that he had never tasted death, nor shall he. So, I mean, and he's the one who gave us the warning about the keystone. I think Zeratul just told Artanis that there was a voice from the beyond that was not Amon. I don't think he mentioned the part that specifically where it was Tassadar. So, Tassadar is still out there doing stuff, just nobody knows.
What have you discovered about the keystone, Phase Smith?
Only that my skills may be inadequate to assess it.
Explain.
Imagine the Terrans obtained one of our fabrication matrices. Could their scientists ever understand its engineering? The task set before me is of a similar scale. The Selnaga were beings beyond our understanding.
Keep working, Karax. I have faith in you.
I mean, if nothing else, at least we serve for a good analogy. Okay, so now we can do Nexus Overcharge, which allows us to automatically attack nearby enemy units for 20 seconds, which I haven't been keeping up with the multiplayer scene recently, so I'm not sure, but at least at one point that was an option for a Mothership core to be able to cast in the multiplayer onto a Nexus. So, I know what that's like. It's a kind of it's a defensive ability. We could also use Orbital Assimilator. Automatically harvests Vespian gas from assimilators without requiring probes. Passive ability. So we can just passively harvest Vespian gas. This would be a bit like the automated extractors and automated refineries from the previous two campaigns. Or warp harmonization. Stargates and robotics facilities can transform to utilize warp technology. Warp and cooldowns are 20% faster than original build times. Now that is amazing. There are many times when I wanted to include robots and stargates into the mix, and star units, spacecraft into the mix, but I haven't because the warping in is just so important. It's like, then I'd have to actually consider how to get the reinforcements from the production line to my army. Warp harmonization could be massive. What would we need to do? We're a little bit short on the Solarite. We don't even have Stargates yet. Let's just go for the Orbital Assimilator right now. And we need to get, like, at least another 15 Solarite to be able to get warp harmonization. Which is, I think, like 5 more than we've left behind total so far.
The evacuation ships have reported in. All are present and are being escorted by the Spear of Adun.
Sweet, so we have a small little fleet with us.
This was not an easy decision, but I would rather see Shakuras destroyed than overwhelmed by Amon Zerg. We have much to plan, Hierarch.
Okay, so we'll get an additional 10 Solarite, which is 5 less than we need. And we have to overload the temple, which I take it will blow up the planet. And we have to fight 50 million Zerg and climbing. That's not going to be difficult at all. But at least we get our new defensive structure, which I'm quite anxious to see how it performs, because it sounds like it could be a really great advantage against the hybrid. But we'll have to get to that in the next episode. So, if you liked this, please subscribe and let me know what you thought either way in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.
Oh look, by repeatedly spam clicking everything, I get monkeys.
I'm pretty sure that there's a monster back there. Oh, he's right there! Oh god, I ran the wrong way! I ran the wrong way! Oh. That could save me. Oh, good times right now. Oh. Why?